And one of you can be co-host with me. Which
I'll
one
let
wants to
Mirantha
do? And
do
I'll
it.
send you the recording link.
Yeah,
Let
send it to
Mirantha do it
me.
because I don't know how
Oh,
to do it.
okay. So
Excuse my sniffles today. I don't know what's
No, you're
happening.
right.
allergy, I
It's
think.
got to
You
I'm
sound
be.
also
better though.
sniffling.
Oh, yeah.
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 So just quickly to uh, share the screen with the work that you were doing. This, my dear friends, this is the ancient Egyptian representation of Nut.
Yes.
And so
Oh,
this is
yep.
Yes.
the Milky Way galaxy. So let's,
Yes. The Milky Way. Yes. Yes. Yes.
yeah, so this is their
Yeah.
uh, Nut Egyptian. Yes, so this is same image. That's what I'm
Yep.
getting immediately
Yep.
with what you shared with me.
Oh,
So
with this,
what you
Mirantha,
did,
I showed him this.
Oh,
yeah,
yeah,
the
okay.
curtain,
Now I can see that.
yeah.
Wow. Cool.
There's the element of Hathor. There's Nut. So you've basically connected with the Egyptian culture and their deities. Now the arc below, that's the kind of the top part of the crust of the earth.
Yes, it is.
So
That's exactly what I thought.
you've got the network of pyramids. But then the big thing in the middle, I'm going to see that as the heart of the planet, the
That's what I
beating heart
thought.
or the core.
Yep.
The serpent on the bottom right side, or if it's the page bottom left side,
Yep.
um, that could be
It might be DNA.
DNA,
See?
yeah. The coiling serpent, DNA, energetically, information could also take that form, light language.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So, in short, what I'm picking up from this is a final level of tuning and adjustment to the nervous system of Earth.
Mm-hmm.
So
Beautiful.
very, very sophisticated grid work, bringing in final codes. And then Elaine and I were talking about cheesecake with a cherry on top. Of course, seems that bringing in the Hathors would
Yep.
be the cherry on top. Fine
Hmm.
tuning and an element of love and oh, Guji Gu Earth. You've been through so
Yeah,
much hardship. Let's
yeah, for sure. That's pretty much what we did today. We definitely went
my
to the
goodness,
center.
amazing,
We
amazing.
did grids, you're right, and everything
Yeah.
that came with that. So yeah.
Yeah.
Wow. Thank you for that.
Yeah.
So super awesome healers. What shall we do today?
I don't know.
We can talk about our understanding of holistic healing if you like.
Yeah, you could do that. Talk about energy.
Energy.
See, I just turned my page because they're going to make me draw.
Oh wow. Okay.
Oh,
See,
for
this is
sure.
That's what I
this is
get.
awesome.
For
Oh,
sure.
already like that. Yeah.
Yeah, nice.
Awesome.
So um shall we let's just assume that whoever's seeing this they know none of us.
Oh, okay.
And that is a little bit of 15 minutes of fame or whatever, 30 minutes of fame that we get to introduce ourselves, how we became what we became. Although this is not this lifetime round, it's
No,
many
this is not
lifetimes.
the
How did
first
we
rodeo.
remember? What were the events? And then what we
Yep.
understand about healing? Because, of course, we've got modern medicine, 21st century medicine, and it's very profoundly effective. It's increased human life expectancy from around 35 to above 70 in average.
Hmm.
So it's very valuable, but then there's certain aspects that they don't cover out of dogma mostly. The limitation, as far as I see, is that they think everything is just physical. And so, in that sense, in the physical domain, surgeries, different types of meds coming from mostly from the plant kingdom, and then they're turned into a pill. These do work. But then there's the rest of the infinite multidimensional cosmos that they don't consider. And so that's where we come in. Certain
Mm.
things that they cannot address, we are able to address effectively. So putting these two together, then we're on to something really. I'd like to let's start with if it's okay, shall we start with Mirantha? Yeah, you go first. So, hey, who are you? What's up? What you doing?
Who me? um, I call myself a universal channel. And the reason I use that title is because of I've had so many lifetimes in and out of the multiverse that I've accumulated so much information and knowledge that I don't really sit in one idea of what that is. So I myself, when it comes to being a channel, I will draw from whatever the information that comes through from source. So I tend to pretty much pop in and out of the center of creation, the source itself, and I take instruction from there. And I feel myself that's probably been always that way. So no matter what form I took through my incarnations, I was always under instruction. So I follow divine law and unity in that aspect. So I always say that I'm not in charge. That's how I see it. I'm wouldn't say it's being under instruction, but it is in a way, because my nature and my personality doesn't come into my work at all. That has to always be to the side. So that's why I say universal channel, because as I am ordained, I take instruction from only the center of source itself. I work with many different types of beings, of course, of light, but I am a neutral being. So I understand all sides of creation, light and dark. And I walk the path at the center, which is something they gave me a couple of years ago. As I was going through my change, they said to me, always walk forward and look ahead in the middle of neutrality, never too far in and never too far on the other, and just keep going. So my abilities I just see as a channel. So in other words, I bring through whatever vibrational energy is required at the time, which is fine tailored for whoever I'm with in that moment. So I'm a very old soul. I've been around for eons, as you know, and this being my last run, I am true to getting this right this time for humanity itself, not actually me. So I've had a very unusual life in that aspect. I've been kept to the side, I've been kept to myself, and I was not really allowed to be infiltrated with any impurities in any way, shape, or form. So I wasn't the person who went out partying and being a part of the norm and all those sort of things. I was very different. So, and I was a very quiet, introverted, shy woman, which worked for me. So I didn't have to go out and prove myself at any time. I always walked just as who I was. So it's been an unusual incarnation this time, but I've learnt so much as an observer. That was my role, to be an observer only, not a participant. And that's where I acquired the last of the knowledge that I have for this lifetime to do what I'm here to do. So that's kind of how I see myself. I don't really have many titles per se. I'm a natural. I haven't done any modalities or training. I've just walked the path one foot after the other and learnt as I've gone along. So I'm probably, I don't know if it's not that I'm different, I'm just unusual in that way. So my heart is always in, as I say, under instruction. My life can't go this way or that way. It always has to keep moving forward. So I can't allow any real distractions of any sort. And if I ever step to do so, I'm brung back immediately as a no. So what people don't understand about me, I don't have the freedom and the choices that most of humanity has of how to live their life. I've always been directed and kept in the center, keep going no matter what. And when you talked about energy and healing, I went through cancer, quite serious, and I was not meant to live as under their idea of that. And through what I'm connected to, they healed me within a 2-week period. So they amazed the medical system. So when you talk of energy, I know exactly what that means and what that feels like by my reality of what I had to live through. So it took a number of years to understand that and heal the physical body, but the cancer itself, energetically, because I willed it to no longer exist and I stepped out of that reality, I was healed pretty much immediately, which stunned the medical system. So, so I said, I'm very different. I don't have that luxury of even allowing cancer within my body, which is interesting. So, if that makes sense.
Oh,
I
yes.
mean, how else do you put it? You know, like
See,
it's a
this is
miracle.
this
Mm,
is one of the most beautiful things that we can share with our wonderful audience. It's not that you've heard this somewhere.
no,
You've done it.
I've done it. I've lived it.
There we go. See, that's the thing.
Mm,
It's sometimes
yeah,
putting these into words or putting it into a protocol. This is not really easy.
no,
Linguistics falls short. And
very
there's
much.
this multi-dimensional nature or infinite nature of who we are that this cannot be fully comprehended even by the brain.
No,
I love something that you said about being under instruction. Now, if I understand
yes,
this correctly, you're standing out of your own way.
pretty
Uh,
much 100% out of my own way.
I think that is
Yeah,
something that many holistic healers also come across. They come to understand this, that somehow you got to get the ego out of the way.
completely.
There
No matter
are
what you're learning, but even if you are learning something, any like modality or something of any sort, you literally cannot have your own nature involved in the middle of what you're learning.
I've kind of come across something similar in my own humble understanding. The times where I get to cause the most profound change is when I do a little prayer, beloved source, there is no
Yeah,
me, there is only you. And so I just happily stand out of the way and allow myself to be the conduit of it. I think both of you would perhaps agree with this. Something
Yes,
100%.
greater.
facilitator,
Yeah, yeah, facilitate.
facilitator. Yeah,
And
for
and
sure.
uh, Elaine, if you would like to now just do a little intro. Who are
Okay.
you? What's
So,
up?
what's up? Well, I've come into this through adversity. Mirantha and I are very similar in many ways.
Yeah,
Um, from birth, near-death experience, through life, 17 surgeries, 4 strokes. I mean,
wow.
I could go on and on and on. Domestic violence, strangled to death. I mean, so I've got these 3 near-death experiences through my life and pulling in new code, new frequencies every time. And through all of that, realizing that the medical system is not, in my opinion, there to help me because I've had my share, um, that I needed to help myself. And I think that's what we all need to do, is to go within. And that's how I started on this journey, was I've got to do this myself because there's nobody that's going to help me.
Mm,
So that's how it was. And I was, probably suicidal at that point. I mean, it was really bad. But again, back to what Mirantha said, it is staying in that center lane,
yeah,
not too far to the right, not too far to the left. Stay in the center. And you can dip back and forth, but it's like, this
mm,
this has to change. So this lifetime is the center and the light. So, that's just
yeah.
that's how it goes. We all have our lifetimes of positive and negative. So yeah, but I guess channel, I have a direct connection to source. I don't have a lot of other stuff going on. Yeah, and I channel code frequency. Um, well, I'll show you a drawing that was done yesterday, and this is how my channeling goes. My code, my frequencies that I pull in, and these are activation and healing, and they're ongoing. And as we do these missions or these meditations or whatever it is, or healings, I do private work, is that you're walking through as they're being drawn, as this is being drawn, I'm walking through the drawing. I'm opening up timelines, opening up galaxies, opening up, creating. So it's a, universal creator, I guess. So it's very interesting. The whole thing has just evolved into this, and I love it. It's what I'm supposed to do. So it's pretty cool.
Right.
Yeah.
Fantastic. Both
Yeah.
of you pointed to neutrality. There's something
Hmm.
very powerful there. And so this is something many of our wonderful audience will probably have come across. In the mainstream, it's all love and light and rainbows and unicorns. I think too much of that can be harmful. The same
Yes.
way too
Yes.
much darkness could be harmful. I'm not saying either are good or evil. They're both poles of reality, both created by the beloved source. And so there's a place for them. We've got light and we've got dark and we've got everything in the middle. So if you're standing in a point of neutrality, it means neither pole has a pull on you.
Hmm.
No.
It gives you great freedom. And so you may be beneficial to both sides of the spectrum, so to speak.
Absolutely. That is
Yeah.
absolutely right.
And there's this
Yeah.
element of compassion for everything, especially after these missions, when you bring the ego back in and then you're the you again. It seems that there's this overwhelming compassion that comes across you once you come back, that you
Yeah.
just see others as different aspects of you going through a different journey. You
Yep.
say, "Oh, poor thing, I feel your pain. You're learning. Oh, I remember when I was doing this. Bless you. I hope you learn quickly."
Yep.
So there's no judgment, so to speak. This and so I love the visualizations that you put on paper. These are very profound. So you call them activations, very much so. That is exactly it.
And
So
healing. Yeah. And it unfolds. Yeah,
it unfolds
absolutely. And it's ongoing.
and
They
it's
don't
on.
stop. So, these are great, like, to put on a screensaver on your phone, or, to just print it out afterwards and just keep it beside your bed or hang it on the wall, or, wherever. And you look at it, you're constantly elevating in
Yes.
its ability. Yeah. Hmm.
So that symbol that you brought in. So I think it's the result of both of you working with each other in this
Hmm.
Yeah. It
instance.
was
So
our
that
event we did
curve
today.
on
Yep.
top of the Earth. So that would be the Milky Way galaxy. Just quickly trying to share this image from Nut, the Egyptian deity. Let's see if I can share screen. And one moment, kindly. So here we see this curve of the Milky Way galaxy. This is now represented by Nut in Egyptian culture. And so this is something that has been made available to humanity throughout history. And so you're picking this up again individually. How
Hmm.
incredibly beautiful.
Hmm.
So this seems to be the grand scheme of healing the earth. So
Hmm.
I just would like to now step aside and ask both of you, could you please give instructions or descriptions, however that would be appropriate to our audience? How do they read this? What do they get from this? What's the intention behind it? So little key points, data points, so they can tune in.
Okay. Well, this one is from our event that we had today, my morning, and it was a particular Earth Gaia event, hence why when you spoke of the center of Gaia and the healing that entered in there, that was correct. That's exactly what our purpose was. But we also brung in, we were hoping for 12-strand DNA, depending on what they were ready for. So it was a lot of reconnecting humanity itself back into the center of Gaia and remembering that aspect of what we're connected to. We're not just connected to the stars. And I find that a lot of people focus so much on their outer connection of the universe that they forget here. And my ideal, which I did speak to Elaine about, was to reconnect them into mend the bypassing that is currently happening. So as you said, too far one way, you then leave an aspect of yourself behind, which then stays unhealed, fractured, and without love. So we were trying to create an idea, which then they gave to us the week before, of bringing humanity back into its original creation of why it's here, that its first purpose, and forgive me if I speak of anything that isn't correct, but in my understanding, our first nature is to be in the first reality. We are kind of rushing ahead into the 5D concept so rapidly that we're forgetting and losing ourselves along the way. So I don't see that at this point in our evolution that 5D is fully possible. That's just my belief. My belief is mine. I don't enforce that on anyone else. I know there is a pattern of evolution that is moving forward into what they are knowing as 5D, but I think our first reality is creating that here first, because otherwise we're forgetting exactly what Source gave us as an imprint for our evolution to start with. So, and the reason I feel they gave that to me was because even people that are coming by my way privately are finding they are not connected to the earth. They are losing their abilities. They are stagnant, frustrated, hurting, suffering, and they are finding they cannot connect to Source well. So by hearing that over the last few months, or even longer than that, maybe the last couple of years, I knew there'd be a time before we start looking at the shift that we need to look at first reality, which is here, before we move into other realms. Because as it's known, we're not actually 3D, we're the first reality, which is first creation. And that's why we're here. So a lot of us starseeds forget that. We are rushing ahead and bypassing a little bit of our own creation. So part of our role, I think me and Elaine together, is to begin again to bring creation in harmony correctly, so that then we can move through into the next stage. As
Yeah,
it's
to
being
come back
seen.
to the set point is really what it is, to
Reset
the
point.
center. Yeah.
Yep.
And
Reset humanity.
and everybody
Yep.
is so worried about, what's going on out there. What is this? What is that? A great example is the drawing. And of course there's curiosity. It's what is it? Why,
Yep.
what is that about? What is that about? To me, it's more a feeling. So what is the feeling of it that you're getting, what is the feeling that you're getting from this? Because it is activation and healing, and not going into so much of, it's like, oh, what did you see? What did you this? What did you that during a healing? It's like, what's going on? Just pull back to yourself. That's where the magic is. And everybody's
right.
so out there, and you
Yep.
know what I'm saying? There's just so
Yep.
much that's not. Oh, everybody just needs to come back to where they're from.
Yeah. Yep.
It's just, yeah.
Yep.
That's
And
very
I think too, I don't know if you've seen anything, but I've noticed that even the galactics have pulled back a little,
yeah.
and only a few are here assisting. I know the Arcturians are definitely here, and they themselves are under witness. It's like they're waiting. They're not putting their hand to as much as is being spoken of. It's not happening quite that way. They are literally being respectful and waiting. So
Yes.
I know that guardians came in beforehand and stood around the gates and around the earth itself to prepare for the next stage of what may be necessary. But at this time, my heart, by what I'm feeling, is telling me that we are not quite where we think we are. And that's hard for people to hear because we all want to see the end result, the glory, right? And feel fabulous. But
Yes.
that's a long process, a long way away. Yeah.
So
A blip in the grand scheme of things, but
It is a blip, but for us, it
for
seems
our
like forever.
humanists,
Yeah.
little,
it's like, let's go.
Yeah,
a little hiccup in the grand scheme.
it is.
What you say, I find this true. So from my side, from what I understand, we are we're a gestalt of different aspects, a compilation of different aspects, starting from the physical. Now, these bodies, they have billions of years of wisdom, evolution, and engineering in them. There's profound knowledge in these bodies. And so, without acknowledging and taking ownership and mastering what we have as body, it's not possible then to go up to higher, more subtle scales of consciousness.
No.
So we have to reclaim our membership as part of the animal kingdom. We are. We've got emotions and instincts. These have kept us alive in nature, helped our ancestors survive. They are valuable. And so if at this level the human is chaotic, then the rest of the stuff cannot be understood.
No.
It's like the foundation of the pyramid. We first have to heal the inner animal, then heal the inner child, then heal the human. Then we have a solid foundation upon which we can listen to the gentle whispers of the soul, that which both of you have access to, and dare I say I do. It requires, sometimes it requires a little bit of turbulence, like illnesses, like trauma. It's gotten, the distortion has gotten so bad that we really need to be jolted into awakening. They say
Yes.
don't shake the baby, but sometimes you
That's
just
right.
got to shake the baby.
Yeah. And I think that's where people are terrified. They don't want to hear or know about that. And I understand that. I've been through enough of my own. I didn't like the shaking the baby either. But that's what woke me up. That's what made me let go of everything that I thought I knew, literally, and give over, surrender.
In my case, it was a different type of trauma, societal.
Okay.
Growing up in the Middle East, there's a lot of harshness and, let's say, political and religious restriction.
Yeah.
That was the nature of the trauma for me. Just seeing that it is all part of a mechanism of power. Power, wealth, and influence. Same thing that we saw in the Crusades. It's very much so alive.
Yeah,
This
very
never
much.
stopped. And so that was a major, major shock to me as I stepped out of teenage years into adulthood and saw that it's all hypocrisy. That was very, very shocking. But, to be honest, humanity has been traumatized for so long. Sometimes it needs an equal level of shock and trauma just to snap you out of it so that you start really perceiving reality that, oh my goodness, this is all a mechanism of control. Mirantha, you said something about many people not being ready. That is absolutely true.
Yeah.
They wish to ascend, but they're not willing to do the work.
Well, they're not willing to surrender their will. And I don't mean as in to servantry and control like what we're already in. I mean as in you literally got to get to the point when you've got to deny your whole nature, your genetic nature, your inner nature that you've been program controlled, and the life nature of what life has taught you or molded you as. So you literally got to let go of your own personality on every level
Yeah.
to enter into that divinity that you're talking about. Because our will, unfortunately, our will is very, see, we blame a lot of external things for our will. And yes, there is control, but we're still responsible
Yes.
for how we live or see that. And there's a lot of, unfortunately, what people don't understand, especially I think starting this year, there's a lot of mirror image from the divine that's going to come in to remind us.
Yeah.
And that's the bit that people are struggling with, is the mirror image of what yet has not been done.
Yeah.
So we have a responsibility, you know what I mean?
I
And it's not easy. I wish it
love.
was, you know what I
Yeah.
mean? Yeah.
That's good. That's good. At least, well, you know, to be perfectly honest, this whole process is not easy. It is not pleasant. Just waking up and seeing for the first time in many cases what has really been going on. This is upsetting.
Very.
And
Definitely.
so,
Yeah.
you know, people have to toughen up a little bit. So
Yeah.
once that initial shock passes and you heal from it, that's when you're at the baseline
Yep.
or set point, as you call it.
Yep.
We're not there. We're significantly below this as a collective.
We are.
And so,
And I don't
um,
like even admitting that, because
yeah,
for
yeah,
people to even, for you to own self to admit that, you're
yeah.
like, but I've done so much work for so long to get here.
It's
And I go, I
it's
know, welcome to stage one.
it's a big
You know what I
shock
mean? Stage
that,
one.
oh, me,
Yeah.
the
Yeah.
fantastic. Oh my
Yep.
God, I'm really, really off. I
Yeah.
think that's what they call a dark night of the soul.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Oh my God, oh
Yes.
my God, I'm
I
I'm
know.
I'm the monkey and I've been wrong. Oh no, what am I gonna do? And if you don't break, you heal and you get stronger. Even if you do
You
break,
do.
you heal and you get
You get
stronger.
stronger. Keep going. You keep going through every
It's
layer. You do
shedding.
not stop.
It's, yeah, it's like
It is.
shedding
Yeah.
that illusion, and then
Yep,
comes up the next one, and that
yep,
sheds, and then comes up the next one. Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. It's
yep.
like nightmare after nightmare.
Nightmare
The
It
after
dark
is.
night of the
but
soul.
It's not
it's
just one. There's more than one.
Exactly.
Yeah.
waking
Yeah.
Everyone
up
has
from
this
the
delusion,
night.
you know, that it's,
So you've been in the nightmare.
oh,
Yeah.
You know, we humans have this incredible ability to dull out pain. And
Yes.
so
And I
often,
understand that, because we don't like the shock of pain.
and
right.
Of course.
so,
Mm.
and then when the pain is gone, there's a saying, there's no greater pleasure than the cessation of suffering. And so all that energy that you've been putting in suppressing and dulling out the pain now can go towards healing and
Mm.
evolution. So
Yep.
although initially it is maybe scary and maybe painful, but it's so worth it. You just gain back so much more energy.
Yeah, you do. You
So
do. I think people, when they go through that initial beginning stage, they enter into, which I love, the nothingness, the void of all the voids of all things. And you have a choice when you enter in there of going back into denial and going round again. Or I tell people, sit in that void, sit in your nothingness as you're shedding your layers, because that's where you need to be. That's where you're going to find yourself. It's where you're going to be your happiest and most at peace.
yes,
Because now you can decide what's next. You know what I
yes,
mean? So
yes.
celebrate it. People don't like the void. I've had a few people recently, oh my God, I'm in a void. And I
Mhm.
start clapping and laughing. They're like, what's funny? I'm like, you've arrived. Welcome to peace.
Yeah,
Welcome to love.
yes,
Welcome to
yes,
finding you. You know what I
yes,
mean?
yes,
So it
absolutely.
is a
Very,
blessing.
very, very
Mm,
true.
yep.
This is described as the ego death. In
Oh,
in
okay.
in,
Yep.
in many, well, let me be more accurate, in every single modality of spirituality and magic, the
Yep.
very beginning stage is an ego death.
Uh-huh.
And sometimes in certain, let's say, societies or cults, they make it more theatrical than really
Yeah.
energetically effective,
Hmm.
blindfolding you and burying you and whatnot. Yes,
It's like, yeah,
these
that's not
are
my thing. I don't
not
like
my,
getting that dirty. I'm sorry, but no, thank you.
they're,
Yeah.
they're they're trying to recreate something that is essentially a divine connection. a
Yeah.
reminder that you are much more than just this physical aspect and the limited consciousness that can be generated by the brain.
Yeah.
So it would be worthwhile for everybody who's hearing this, because this may come in many forms.
Yeah.
Each of us have faced this death of ego and in different ways. Let me elaborate this. The ego is basically a collection of properties of identity. And so if I'm defined as a male, certain age, certain race, certain nationality, religion, financial status, whatever. So these are all boundaries getting smaller and smaller and smaller and smaller until there's just me and maybe two or three other dudes that check the same boxes globally. That's a
Yeah.
prison. So the ego death is kicking down the walls, saying that, oh, there is no me, there is no you, there is no here, there is no now. I'm everyone, I'm everything.
Mhm.
That is necessary. Again, with relation to our conscious mind and how the body works, that change in identity, that liberation is necessary. People need to call to the beloved source and ask for this.
Yeah.
And then source will give this experience to them in the way that is most appropriate. So one formula fitting all, that doesn't work,
No.
because we're all so different, we're all so unique. But I think we all agree that that prison of identity needs to go.
Absolutely needs to go.
Yeah.
Because that's what's creating humanity as it is right now, which is the problem. We hold on to what we think we are or what we think we know.
So I was thinking perhaps we could together um, do a little mini project.
Yeah, absolutely.
So we all came nicely to this full circle and the conclusion that there needs to be more foundation work done
Mhm.
towards healing the human, the physical aspect, emotional aspect of the human, our mental patterns, and then resulting, all of this work resulting in the death of the ego and liberation. So then we're at start point.
Yep.
So maybe we could all create something, a little energetic work towards
Mhm.
this
Yep.
healing of the foundation of the mighty human, so that we may begin in earnest the journey of evolution and ascension.
Yep. It seems to be the theme today. It's really funny to say the beginning of evolution because
Yes,
it is.
we got
It
to be
is.
honest. If
Yep.
truth is coming in, let's say
It
we
is
still
truth.
need to walk for 2 days to get to the start line.
We do.
Okay. Oh
Okay.
dear, but so be it.
That's right. Exactly.
Okay, so I will follow your guidance and I'll chip in as much as I can. So
Okay.
you guys are driving, I'm in the back
All right.
seat. I promise to be a good passenger.
Yeah, I doubt it. But anyway, good, nice try.
I'm
I
gonna,
think you're gone. You go.
I was just gonna say, I'm gonna show you, I've been drawing.
Yep.
So to me, this is source. To me, this is our origin. So it's quite interesting because that's what we're pulling back to is our origin, is to
Yep.
pulling back to the source and starting again. So I think this is,
Center of the universe.
yep,
Could we call it that?
or source.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yep.
yeah,
For sure.
yeah.
There's a lot of
In
roads to
its
travel.
purity. That's
Mm,
it. Yeah,
beautiful.
yeah.
So I think one of the things, if I think about my journey, because we're all the same, we all look the same, we have the same feelings, same experiences in different time and realities, but our soul is extremely individual. Absolutely, there's not one soul that is the same, and people find that hard to understand, but they're not. So if I think about what I've been through and what got me to here, even to today, with all the changes that I've gone through, if there's one thing, when I realized everything that we're talking about, and I woke up to that idea many years ago, one thing I needed was to feel safe. Because at the time, when you go through this, no matter how many people around you and how many people will have the right ideas to help you, you can still feel unsafe. You can feel alone, unsafe as an individual soul. Because in that time that you're in that nothing, you don't know where to go. So maybe them feeling safe, loved, knowing that the next phase they take after the dumpster fire, as someone calls it, we won't mention his name, that there is more, that it's not that way forever. It is possible to move past that unsafe feeling that you will go through. So we could start with looking after, because it's like we're all children. It's like children. When children evolve and grow, they don't know who they are. They go through many trials and tribulations, and they can go through much fear with that, without any direction of really knowing where to go from there. So maybe that would be a good place to start. Maybe give them some language and some energy, just to let them know that it's okay to be in that nothing, to not know who you are, to not know why you're here, and that you really aren't alone, because there's plenty
Yeah.
of others. Trust
Yeah.
me,
I mean,
plenty of
it's
others.
simplicity, but it's to
Yep,
hold someone's hand,
yep,
just to reach out and just extend a hand and say, I'm here. You're not
yep,
alone.
no,
That's what's
yep,
super important for
it
people to
is.
understand. And there's no shame in that. People think,
No,
oh, their ego, it's like, oh, I could do it myself, or, whatever it is.
yep,
Yeah. It's just to ease that. Yeah.
I call this the key to the most powerful magic. And here is how it goes. Beloved, beloved, source of all sources, I do not know, but I love with all my being. The impurities in my being cause impurities in my manifestations. Please consider that I have said, asked for, and done everything correctly. Grant me that manifestation that aligns with my highest soul purpose, highest good, and greatest life. May I be blessed, and may these blessings overflow and wash across the cosmos and serve the highest good of all.
Beautiful. Well, that
well
We're,
sums it up.
done.
we're, we're
Well done.
acknowledging that
Yep,
Yeah.
there's nothing going on in here.
no,
You can't
no,
know that you can't fit the ocean into a tiny, teeny, weeny little cup.
no,
Mhm.
you cannot.
You have to say,
No.
I don't know. I don't know.
And that's hard for humanity to go, I don't know.
Yeah,
It really is.
the
And the
best is we
don't
just
know
don't
is surrender. That is when
Yeah.
the miracle and the magic happens.
Yeah.
And you allow
and
yourself not
surrendering
to know.
to our own infinite soul that has all the
Yep,
wisdom,
yep,
and surrendering to the benevolent source of all things, that is the source of all things. There
yep,
is no better refuge. That will give you a great deal of calmness. That
mm,
feeling of fear, it's usually a built-in mechanism when there is great unknown.
yeah,
And then it's a survival mechanism. So we start creating possible realities that may come, and that could be all fearful,
yeah,
so that we may better prepare to protect ourselves. But most of it never comes to pass.
no,
So
it
there's
Yeah.
doesn't.
this built-in kind of mechanism, although it does serve us in physical reality. I mean, what's the worst that can come? A saber-toothed tiger or a T-Rex? Often what happened is we barbecued those guys. Yeah, like
You'll say, well, I'll get the old skewers out and light the fire. So welcome in, guys. Okay, welcome in. So I
It's
might do a little,
interesting.
yeah, go on.
Oh, go ahead. No,
You
no,
go,
go ahead.
go.
Oh, I was just going to say it's interesting that you say that. I tell my granddaughter, she'll be 12, but all her life she's like scared to do something, or oh my
Yeah,
gosh, it's fear, it's this is going to happen. I said, "Who told you that that's what that feeling is? Who
yeah,
told
that's
you
right.
that?" I said, "That is source, your body telling you you're about to do something amazing."
Yeah, I agree.
That's what that feeling is. So
Yep,
whatever conditioning you came into that has created that, I said, that's not what it is. So I would say that to everyone as well, because that's the
right.
truth,
yes,
right? We create whatever that is. Yeah.
I walk through fear. No matter what I do, it's something new that's unknown, I'm not sure, I say yes to everything. I will actually take my fear into everything, because once I'm in
Beautiful.
there, I'll be fine. So fear and
Right?
I have a little deal going on,
Yeah.
that no matter what it brings in and what it makes me feel, if I'm even afraid of something new, it has to come with me. Because I say that, well, if you're going to have your say and you're going to come in on this, well, then you're going to have to come into here to do it with me. So either way, you're going to have to just accept, because I'm going anyway.
Beautiful.
That's just the way it is.
That's right. Yeah.
And then
It's
after
like,
a while, we're working together. So you can work with everything you have, even though there's positives and negatives about us. You can still bring them all together and work with them. You know what I mean? You don't
there's
have
power
to.
in all.
You don't have to be against one and with the other, or only be this way and not be this way. We are made as, I'll tell you why. I had the voice of God with the hand on heart only once, 2 years ago, came into my house. This massive voice that spoke through everything, through the walls, through my cells, through the sky, through nature, through the multiverse. It was so loud it rattled me to my core itself. And the voice said to me, why do you judge that something should be right or wrong, light or dark, this way or that way? I created everything as it is for your purpose of evolution. Embrace all of it and
Amazing.
accept it. And then it left, and I've never heard it again. It's like when the hand comes down and goes, by the way, Mirantha, are you listening? And I'm like, yes, I'm listening. So I might do a little bit of language or something,
Yes,
just
please.
to soothe the soul, something like that. That'll be nice.
Yes, please.
Hia nohanaman sia tor kia roma nia shalan sia toro machineste mohatain mashalati ia torufan selia takam maisia tofor nishili sarahaman Ti kuri kovalian stia hana malista morosh lian stia. So there's talk about digging deep, allowing your soul to speak, to be at peace, and to flow, to accept everything, basically. Shiana mahoria, nekin mahalast arifo, nik ashliam mo aratia halana masalate. Shia forhana ki shalahatain, Mashiach foi lahaste, Nehala motoya hale inia. So they're also talking about the closer you are to Source, God, the more you attain, the more you heal, the more you become.
Wow.
Beautiful.
Oh, that's so
Like
lovely.
direct threads, just threads of threads coming straight out of Source directly to everybody with their name on it, their lifetimes, their memories, being blessed, being brung together so they can just sit and be at peace with who they are.
Beautiful.
Amazing. Now, it does give that sense of soothing and bringing back that sense of calm, as if you're getting a big, big bear hug from
Big
Source.
huggy wuggies.
Uh,
Huggy wubbies, I call it, from Source.
Huggy wuggies, that's the correct
Huggy
scientific
wuggies.
That technical term, right?
technical.
I'm always
Yes.
very technical.
I know.
Always use the big words. Bring the big guns. Huggy wubbies.
Oh, yeah. So, I would like to now kindly ask you to just use whatever you want to use and say whatever you want to say, closing statements if you wish, and then we can bring it to a close. We should do more of these. There's so much to be talked about. So I would like
You're only
to
touching the
humbly
surface. Yeah.
extend the invitation and let's do more of
Yeah,
them.
absolutely. Love to.
Definitely.
Love to.
I'd like to send
Elaine,
some
you gone?
healing and
Yep.
clearing.
Yep.
So,
That'd be great.
okay. I'm not going to say much. I'm just going to send. I'm going to hold my rods, and will let me know when it's all clear. In Godspeed. Yep, right there.
Wow.
So everyone
A
watching
sweet
is
spot.
clear. And then I'm going to send healing to all. So anything that was removed, I'm filling with source energy, source light, diamond light, crystalline, grounding everyone. Thank you.
Thank you. That was amazing.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
You can put a big
Can I
dose of
yeah,
the big
a dose of
happy.
something? I saw DNA helix,
Mm.
them source going through our DNA, humanity's DNA. So whatever is going on at the moment is still going on, still running.
Mhm.
It's interesting.
Yeah,
This
it's
is
ongoing, just like the drawings.
Yeah,
this is
that's what I
great
said.
news. At least we're moving. That's good.
This is
We're on the
true.
bus. We're on the
No,
bus. We're on our way.
at least this time in the right direction. Thank goodness.
Yes, I believe that for
Yeah.
sure. About time. Anyway.
Yeah.
Closing statement. If I can do it, anybody can do it.
I think just to open your heart and lead with your heart, I think that is the key, is to
Yeah.
let go of the mind, come down from the mind into the heart and move
Yeah.
from there. I think that's the key. So yeah.
For sure.
Reach out to source. Source will reach back. That is the law.
Mhm.
That's right. That is universal law.
Yeah. When you step into the unknown, there's always that hand supporting you on the
Always.
other side of it.
Yeah.
Always.
Yeah.
And that's
Other
good
side of fear.
because if you are worthy, they reach back from the other side and pull. If you are not
They
worthy,
do.
you have to stay behind and learn it
They wait.
properly.
They wait
Yep.
for you.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes, yes. So the ones
They
that
do
have
wait.
been extra naughty, they're not making it through quite so
Yes.
easily.
No, they are not.
Correct.
That is truth.
Shucks. No, I'm kidding.
Well,
I knew I shouldn't have had that extra chocolate bar this morning. Oh, I've done
That
it
extra
now.
piece of cheesecake.
A piece of cheesecake, done it. There's
you
no
know what?
entry
If
into
I get
heaven because of cheesecake.
well, that's the reward for me, cheesecake. I will
Yeah,
happily work for cheesecake. So
yeah, me too. Or tiramisu.
no
Tiramisu is pretty
tiramisu.
good. I
Now you're
like
talking.
tiramisu. That's my number one. Tiramisu.
I'm going to put this up again. I'm going to hold it up. And if anybody wants to take a screenshot, they can take a screenshot and they can
Yep.
print that, crop it, and then print it. And they have the frequencies from source. Yep. Cradle of consciousness.
Wow.
Yeah.
Amir, do you think the outer circle is where source is and the void that's in circles around that?
Yes.
Because I got taken to a place once and my husband said to me, just as a joke, oh, go on, go to the edge of the multiverse, go all the way to the heart of God and see what you see. And I thought he was just being a cheeky bugger. So I went, all right, challenge accepted. I'll have a look, thinking, who knows? And that's what I saw. He said, what did you see at the edge of creation? I said, there's nothing. It's dead quiet. And that kind of looks like that.
The primordial divine void. It's that
Yeah.
first instance that source says, okay, let there be, and before there's any qualification, there's the divine void. That's the foundation of everything.
Yep.
It's a zone of infinite energy and infinite possibility.
Yep.
None of it
And
yet.
it's alive. It's alive.
And then you give
Unconscious.
energy to one possibility, vibration starts, and we get the primordial zone of sound. Vibrations
Yep.
become faster. You have light, and then the little
Yep.
modifications on the infinite fractal of existence. So that's the void, the very
Yep.
boundary. If you go even
Yep.
further in, you may see the starting stages of you dividing away from source. See yourself in the form of an orb of light with many,
Yep.
many other little orbs all going happy all around.
Yep. Yeah,
And
I've
then
seen
there's
that as well.
source, which is
Yeah.
awesome.
It's
Source is
amazing.
pretty awesome. Yeah.
It's an incredible experience. And then my husband said to, what did you feel or hear or what anything that happened while you were there? I said, nothing.
That's
And he's like,
correct.
what do you mean
Correct
nothing? I
answer.
said, nothing.
Correct answer.
He thought I was being smart ass. I was not.
Oh, you were,
Yeah.
but you weren't.
I were and I weren't. Even Source has a sense of humor. They got to because they would have heard Mirantha coming. Here she comes, asking questions.
Oh, yeah.
Dear.
Well,
Awesome.
I'd like to not just point at this energy of big happy. This is
Yep,
the result of some pretty sophisticated spiritual work.
for
This
sure.
this energy of joy that's very elated, and also infinite compassion towards
Yeah.
everyone and everything. Now we're in a good mood to pet the neighbor's angry demon cat, and we'll walk around and be
Uh,
all jolly and sing with the
oh
birds,
dear.
dance Macarena. Yeah.
Oh, don't even go there. I've actually
Oh,
done
now you
that.
got that song in my head.
I don't know
Yeah.
if you've ever seen that. Have you ever, I know it, have you ever patted a demon? Oh,
Oh, yes, I have.
seriously, I
Uh,
have.
yes,
Patted
on a daily basis.
Yes,
Hey,
pat him on the head.
Oh,
little
Yes.
Gucci goo, look how cute your
Gucci goo.
horns are.
I
How they're
love
I
all
know,
you.
right?
left up and
Oh,
yeah.
so funny. So funny. I've not heard anyone else speak of it. That's why I'm laughing. I said, if you've definitely patted one. I know you have from what you just said. I said, so have I. Oh, shit.
You
They
know,
got no hope.
we've got the capacity to love ugly things too. I mean, come on, look
Dead
at some
ugly. Yep,
dogs. Oh my God,
I know, right?
so
Have you seen the
cute.
ugliest dog in the UK? You guys took the title for that at one stage. I was disappointed. Went to the UK. It's like,
Eye
damn.
this way, one eye this way.
Yeah, and God knows things sticking out of places that I just didn't even know could be created. Poor thing. It was beautiful.
Oh
It was
wow.
beautiful. Oh dear. I did say
Okay.
to you, I probably won't behave myself.
Well, no,
It's
no,
not going to
don't,
happen.
don't restrict that brilliance. Oh.
It is a child.
Okay, so to be continued. Let's do more. I think
Yeah,
we
for sure.
make a lovely team,
Yep.
and there's lots of good stuff we bring out in each other.
Yeah,
Um,
we
Yep.
do.
so yeah, more to be continued. Let's do more of
To be
these.
continued.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Thank you so
Amazing.
much.
Thank you so much. Absolute.
Know
Thank you. What an
that
honor.
some of this time, the timing, local time is pretty wonky.
Yep.
So we could do it in a circulation so that
Yeah.
one doesn't get the short end doing it at 3 a.m. or
Yeah,
2 a.m.
exactly. Which would be Mirantha
Yeah,
for
Mirantha,
sure.
what time are you?
No, I'm good this time. I'm on 9 p.m. So
Okay,
Elaine
that's
drew
not
the
too
short straw
crazy.
this time.
What
Yeah.
time were you, Elaine?
Well, I awoke at 3 and I didn't dare
Oh
Okay.
go back
God.
to bed
Oh,
Okay,
you
because
poor
so
I knew
thing.
I wouldn't get up.
next time I'll do the
We'll
3 a.m.
rotate.
Yeah, let's
Okay.
rotate. We want it to be fair.
Yep.
Oh,
That's
it's
what I
okay.
thought. I was going to
I
say
don't
that.
care.
No, that's what I was going to ask. We should do different AMs each, like just rotate it or something like that.
Oh yeah.
No problemo. I promise I'll be partially awake for
Okay.
something.
AM person makes the pancakes because they're up early.
There
Why
you
not?
go.
No, I'm not doing that. I'm too old to make pancakes. I'm past that time, those years. I'll buy pancakes. Is that all right? I'll purchase pancakes.
Yes.
No, I'll make pancakes if
Wonderful
I've got to.
friends. Thank you so much.
No, thank you.
Thank
Thank
you.
you so
All right.
much. We love you. And I
Love you
hope
too.
wonderful,
Bye.
wonderful. Take care.
Thank you.
Bye
Bye.
now. See ya.
Bye. Bye.